All right, we are at the final 3 weeks of Vivyen's cut, but before I get started and cover that, I wanted to know, are you interested in me going through the reverse diet period after this? So I know I did her reverse diet series coming from a longer history of kind of yo-yo dieting and trying to create a healthy relationship with food and everything. This would be a different type of reverse. So if you're interested in seeing that series after this one is done, let me know in the comments below so I know that there's a demand. And if you want it, I will go through it. Anyway, going over the last 3 weeks, starting with week 27, we had a little bit of a hiccup with that week because she had a bit of a COVID scare. One of her friends that she had been with got diagnosed with it and she was just a little concerned with things. So we decided to go ahead and just back off, give her some more calories, reduce the cardio, and just focus on helping the immune system the best we could until we knew for sure. In which she ended up getting a test done and thankfully came back negative. But what that ended up essentially doing was giving us 4 days of the higher calories. So it was kind of like getting a little bit of a diet break, which wasn't necessarily the worst thing in the world leading into the last few weeks of the cut anyway. But because of this, things were a little bit off, calories were a little bit high, and we didn't really see much of a drop in the scale, seeing less than 0.2 pounds on average for the week. But considering she basically got a little bit of a break and we were heading into the next week and things had been going just fine, we went ahead and kept things the same for week 28. Now, week 28 was a period week, and if you've been watching for a while, you know by now that her weight will typically be elevated quite a bit during a period, which is very normal. Not only that, but it was a bit longer and heavier than usual, so that will factor in even more. Plus, her steps were down a bit too, thanks to a Navy ship explosion that had toxic smoke in the air, so she really couldn't go outside and she couldn't get most of her steps in. So she did do a little bit of extra cardio to make up for it, but things were just off that week. So of course, no big surprise, her weight was elevated here, up about a pound on average for the week. But knowing that this was falsely elevated, there was really no need to make any changes, except we decided to make some small changes because we were going into the final week of her cut now. So we figured, why not just kind of get after it a little bit more and make a little bit of a push, knowing that the relief was coming afterwards. So with that, we made a little extra push in cardio, basically took away her high days, so it was all low days for the week. And honestly, if anything, I think she actually mentally liked this, knowing that things had been a little suboptimal the last couple weeks. So having a little bit of a challenge for that last week, I think sat well. What ended up coming of this was a drop of about 2.5 pounds, though we know some of that is period weight, but still a nice drop, including a couple bigger lows at the end of the week. So that finishes the end of her cut. In total, she lost 18.4 pounds in 29 weeks, which probably doesn't sound like much, but remember, she wasn't very big to begin with, so it's a bigger percentage. Plus 8 of those weeks were diet break weeks, making it more like 18.4 pounds in 21 weeks of actual cutting. This comes out to an average of cutting weeks of about 0.9 pounds on average per week, which is actually a pretty good pace for her. And it's always important to remember, we can't get caught up in the little things, when things don't go the way we want them to, when it seems like it's not working, when results are coming slowly. These small changes over a long period of time lead up to big changes. And in fact, if we look back through hers, 10 of these 29 weeks had losses of less than 1/4 of a pound, and several of them actually saw increases on the scale. And it just shows you can't get so caught up in it and worrying so much about results, and just keep going, make adjustments when things stall out, be patient, and good things happen. And I'm so proud of Vivyen. If you're seeing this, Vivyen, thank you for letting us document this. I'm so proud of everything you've done, watching you from the very beginning, all the way back. If you've been watching from the beginning of her last reverse, you know that her relationship with food has gotten much better. She is in a way different place, both mentally and physically. The mental side, in my opinion, is much more important, and the reason for making the physical changes too. So I just hope if you see this and you struggle with a lot of the stuff that she used to, with binge eating and emotional eating and getting caught up in the all or nothing approach, there is a way out, but it does require patience and rewiring the way you think of things. So anyway, now it's time to reverse out from here, and Vivyen wants to take more of a moderate approach, and her goal is to kind of roughly maintain. Now, if you've watched a lot of my previous videos, you know that we don't really normally just totally maintain, and there's more of a range, but she wants to keep things relatively stable and go through at least the rest of the year and just try to get calories back up, get into a better place, enjoy some more food, and then at some point, probably early next year, we'll make another push for another cut, because she wants to get down below 114 pounds and just try to hold that for a while and see how that feels, because for her, that is a weight class for her powerlifting, and she'd like to stay under that if possible. But of course, we have to see how things go, see how she feels, and sometimes we have to just say, hey, it's not in the cards, but there's only one way to find out. So if you want to see me take her through the reverse, trying to keep stable coming out of a cut, let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, make sure you check out this top video where I take you through 3 different examples of reverse diet success. And especially if you struggle with not following through because you're afraid of gaining weight, you're gonna wanna make sure you check this one out, as it could really help. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.